Hello, Facebook. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope everybody had like an amazing holiday weekend. Well, holiday weekend, happy December, all of that. We're in a new year, 2024. So I was just thinking about something and I hadn't popped on live in a while. And so I just wanted to come in and it was talking about the voice of your next person. So a lot of people in the new year, they research new ideas and dreams and goals and all of the things. And generally, they reach out to people or a community or a group of those that can help them to up level. It doesn't matter if it's a coach or a mentor, or maybe you decided to pick up a cooking class and you're your next teacher, anything like that. And so people start searching. And as you're looking, most people they're looking for that expected outcome, what it is, what can you do for me, right? I was thinking about something that a previous mentor of mine said. She was a mentor and coach and friend. And I never forgot that she talked about the voice of that person. So, for those of you that don't know me or catching me possibly on the replay, my name is Mocha-Mystique Bookovic. I help my clients to peel back that inner layer, that next layer of truth that allows them to discover a deeper connection with themselves. Something I hid from for so long was myself, and helping them to navigate their truth and more on the magical side of life. So, like I was saying, I was thinking about the voice, literally the voice of your next person, no matter what that is. And I was thinking about a time, and it's been a couple of years, where the voice of a person literally made the decision of me doing something or not doing something. So what it was is there's been about four different women in my life that I can think of, um, others, but that are friends that have they basically changed kind of the course of what I was going through. And so, but let me back up. So, my mentor at the time, mentor and coach, she said, make sure the person's voice resonated with you. Make sure that, that they were able to like help you across the finish line. You had to do it yourself, but make sure to really listen to their voice. Go on, listen to their videos and get used to them. And if they don't have videos, maybe pause and make sure that you have a deep enough conversation to figure out the voice resonance. I literally thought she was crazy. I'm like, "What is she talking about? That doesn't even make sense," until it happened. So, of, like, the different women, there was this, she's a coach and, amazing numerologist. Actually, she's a colleague and a friend. She was putting on a retreat. And this was, it's been a couple of years now. She was putting on a retreat. And everything I read, everybody wanted to be there. Everybody wanted to do the thing. Spots were filling up. It was going out to California. And I'm like, yes, I have to be there. I have to do this. And then I remembered something that my mentor said. What does her voice sound like to you? Can you be with it? So I went and found some videos, stalked her on Facebook, found a few videos, and I was like, oh, oh my gosh, there is no way I can sit and listen to this woman for a weekend. Like, I can't even sit and listen to her now. And I was horrified. And I thought that is interesting because in the community that I was in, everybody loved her. And I'm like, and so I kind of sat with it and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I not like listening to this person? What is, and I really struggled with it back and forth because everything about her on paper, on her website, the stuff that she put out in social media, all of it, I resonate with it. I fell in love with. How could this retreat not be perfect? But her voice was nails on a chalkboard for me. It was miserable. So I had to be with it, but I felt it in my body. My body was just like, no, I cannot do this. There's no way I can listen to her talk. It would have to be a quiet retreat, and I'm not paying for this. So I didn't do it. Well, what was really fascinating is the following year, at the time of her retreat, it ended up being one of my largest Rossiter clients, or excuse me, Rossiter classes ever. It was amazing, and there was probably I think I had that weekend maybe 14 people go through the system, something that was very important to me, and it was during that time of the retreat. So the beauty of what it was is the screech on the chalkboard, not wanting to listen to her. I was personalizing it when my body was saying, no, something better is coming, but I wasn't able to create that separation at that time. So it ended up now when I listen to her, I am in even one of her groups, listen to her for her numerology, her coaching, all of this doesn't even phase me now. Her voice has completely changed. But at that time and in that moment, it wasn't for me. So then another time I had, it was another experience. One of my besties, she had offered me a free, basically a free trip to Sedona, all the lodging, everything, the entire experience. She was going to even come down, pick me up, drive me there. And that was it. It was a completely free trip to Sedona for like 2 weeks. It was amazing. And she had asked me, it was probably 7 months before going. And who wouldn't want a free trip to Sedona, right? And the place that I'd always wanted to go to, and we were looking at pictures and places to go hiking and doing all of these things. And how not? Why not go with your best friend, right? And everything in me said no. And I could not figure out for the life of me why my body was literally screaming no at the time. And every time it was interesting because when it's your best friend, you think, what is wrong? What is happening? And you question, right? But anytime she talked about Sedona, I just cringed. Literally, it was like something about the verbalization, the voicing of what she was saying. I just cringed. I couldn't do it. Fast forward 8 months later, what ends up happening? I just had to start to trust it. What ended up happening? I got the community flu everybody got, and sickest of my life, I was down. There was no way I could have been. So it ended up being a blessing because we didn't end up booking all of these things together because there was no way I would have made it. So, and in that time, I had done so much self work that I needed that downtime, whether it was the flu or whatever it was, didn't matter. It was the time for my body to recoup and recover. And it happened to be that my body knew that it was going to be at that time. Didn't matter where I was going to be or where I was going. My body was just going to do its thing. So it was really interesting how even within our friends, something can shift. I got another girlfriend, my girlfriend Heather. A lot of you have seen me do lives with her. When I first met Heather, couldn't listen to her, couldn't be around her, and I love her to death, right? And you've seen us do lives for those of you that have maybe caught us. She's an amazing numerologist, but Heather commands a presence. She's very strong. She's very, very good at numerology, right? And so for me, there was this intimidation piece that I couldn't quite process. I couldn't quite get there and in that. And her voice, it was hard to hear for a short period of time. This was prior to obviously our videos, right? And doing things together. But what it was is when I was ready to show up, kind of that student teacher moment, when I was ready to show up for me, her voice changed. Her voice changed in how I was able to take it in, right? Because she helped me to allow for holding space. She helped me to do the things like with going live and doing the thing. And one of my most favorite things ever that she helped me with is with just my confidence and ability in the aspect of numerology. She let me bounce ideas, bounce things by like the visions that I would get that I wasn't comfortable with because I was like, nope, I'm not doing it like everybody else. She created comfort in what I needed for that. So that's that weirdness for me, she created space for, and in the doing so allowed me to learn space to match. And now her voice sounds totally different to me, right? And so it was allowing that because it's always kind of weird when sometimes our friends, we hear them differently. And my last example for that is another gal. She happens to be another numerologist. We spent nearly a year in classes together. I literally could never understand her. Never. I thought it was her accent. And then I was like, maybe she talks too slow. Maybe she talks too fast. Like I made up all these excuses in my head. What it really ended up being is from a numerological perspective, she's my displacement. She's my displacement card. I was not in a place or ready to level up for the communication that would come to me and to be open about it, to be okay with letting people know that I was a conscious channel, to be okay with bringing in that higher wisdom and higher self into conversation like it needed to be hid. Because for some people, it either scared them or I've been told that, be careful with that numerology stuff. Be careful with channeling. Be careful. Everybody wants to rescue somebody, right? And so she was such an eye opener. And when she helped me to kind of realize that, right? That's when everything opened up. It was never the accident or the understanding. It's where my body was in being willing to just proceed with learning, proceed with the doing, proceed in my own next best steps. So, again, if you happen to be just catching this now, my name is Mocha. I am a basically a conscious channel numerologist, and I do coaching, and I love thinking about all these little things with the coaching that come into it, and sharing this and helping people to recognize things in their body, to be okay with the fact that sometimes you cannot stand listening to your friends. You cannot stand listening to coaches, you can't stand listening to mentors or family members, but it might be carving a path for you to come into awareness about something else with. And like I just shared for myself, it was coming into one of my biggest classes that I had had from a bodywork perspective. It was coming into allowing my body to integrate, um, coming into the next level of self in my numerology. And then with my last friend, acknowledging the gifts that I had. So here's what's also interesting, the flip of it. I can now think of a few people in my life that they're still the most amazing people and I love them dearly. But from a learning perspective and a coaching perspective, they no longer resonate. And these are actually just coaches of way of the past, and people way in the past that I go to listen to them and I'm like, huh, their voice doesn't sound the same. It does not speak to me the way it does. The song no longer resonates, and I just want to change the channel. And what I've come to realize in that is that what it's really doing is saying, here's the growth. You needed them for a time, a reason, or a season, as they say. But now you've had enough growth that you can move on to the different things. But also, too, sometimes when that song is over and over, and you start realizing that in the community, that's also maybe time that you need a change, to need a stretch, to let somebody maybe irritate you in their voice, right? What is that trigger that's coming in that can basically be a trigger in an area of life if you're too stagnant and you're stifling your own growth? So, anyway, it was just one of those thoughts. So, just something I just wanted to share. And um, yeah, so if you're looking for that next person, that next coach, the next teacher, the next influencer, whatever that is for you as you journey into 2024, how's their voice? What is their voice saying? And as your eyes are looking at everything and everything looks so amazing, what is your body telling you? Is it giving you the big yes? Or is your body basically screaming absolutely not and no? And the mind just wants to take over. So, yeah, so if you end up catching this live or on the replay, would love for you to say hi. If you have any questions, would love to know your thoughts. What do you think? Have you ever had the voice of your next person, or that voice of anybody, be able to lead you astray, lead you on path? What has it done for you? I'd love to know in the comments. So, anyway, I hope everybody has an amazing day, and I look forward to connecting with anybody, and have an amazing year.